It's January the 12th, 2010, and this is Fire Your Accountant and Hire a Partner, small business podcast that teaches you how to increase your small business profit by turning your accountant into a partner. I'm Mark.
I'm Vince. Ha-ha!
And welcome to our crazy show. This is the procedure for this is your best accounting software for your small business.
Did he say procedure? Man, he's wearing a suit and tie and it's stuck on his neck. Don't listen to anything he has to say because you ain't going to get nowhere.
Okay,
and we're going to have some fun today. This is not about being stuffy or whatever. So, relax, fall asleep like I'm about to. No, don't fall asleep, please.
Yeah, don't fall asleep.
Don't fall asleep, okay?
I need you
I
awake.
promise I won't be boring. All right. So what do you want to ask me?
Well,
I'm ready.
I've
Go
done
ahead.
I've done
Now.
I need a noose or an off button. I can turn your microphone off.
Well, you can't do that. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I've done a lot of research on the internet, and I've noticed that if I went to a lot of small business forums, I would see one of the most popular questions being, what's the best accounting software for my small business? A lot of entrepreneurs are starting out their business either for the first time or they've been at it for a while and using an Excel spreadsheet or paper or something like that, and they realize that it's just not enough. And so they start doing some homework on accounting software. So when I went to look for some answers online, unfortunately, I didn't get any clear-cut answers. All I got was kind of a vague,
Sure.
here are the softwares that are available, here's what's good about them. And I know you as a guy with an opinion.
Oh, gee, thanks, I guess it's preceding me. Okay, I'll offer you my opinion. Again, it's only an opinion. I prefer QuickBooks. There are multiple other softwares out there. I just like the versatility. I like the way that the reports come. I like the ability to go in there and know very little and actually find your way around it. I find it very user-friendly. Obviously, there's going to be some people who disagree, and that's okay. I've used both the American version and the Canadian version, and they're extremely similar, and it's quite easy to use, in my opinion. Not only that, if you're illiterate about financial statements, the reason that I pick a software versus Excel, because I hear a lot of people saying that, is because even I as an accountant, I know how to make sure that my assets equal liabilities and equities, right? I even have problems sometimes when it doesn't balance and I have to go link them again. Software eliminates all that problem. You just got to know how to use it, get an understanding of it, understand what the information is going to tell you, and move on. And it would be really good if you had somebody who was there to help you with it as well.
So what you're saying is that by using a software package, that it's going to save me a lot of time because the software package automatically balances the books for me?
Absolutely, and that's what you want. Excel, there's no guarantee that it will balance, and you may not even know what is out of balance.
So, which leads me to actually the first question I should have asked you, rather than what software do you recommend? Why can't I just stick with my Excel spreadsheet? You obviously give me one reason, and that is because it's much easier to balance and I'll save myself a lot of time and money. What other reasons would I want to use a software like a QuickBooks or one of the other simply accounting type softwares that are out there? Why?
Well, you can use Excel, but given that you're not somebody who is familiar with this side of the business, when it comes to year end, what will you be really presenting to your other accountant, and how much time is that person going to take to decipher it, and how much is that going to cost you in the end?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, in some ways there's things that are about the bottom line, and that one is going to affect you. Not only that, it's going to take time away from the things that you do best.
Yeah. Yeah, so, as an example, don't we have a client that uses Excel to do some monthly budgeting, and don't we have to take all that Excel and actually enter it into QuickBooks before we can...
We do, but before we even can enter it, we have to make sure we understand what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that creates another problem. That doesn't mean that somebody who's using QuickBooks or Simply or anything else will make a mess of it inside of the actual books, because that's been known to happen as well.
Right.
Okay, so, but what I found is that if you instruct somebody on a piece of software that they've never used before, in my case QuickBooks, and you give them the opportunity to come and talk to you on a regular basis, chances are, and this is from experience, is they'll get a grip on it and they'll produce statements that actually they can understand, that they can explain. Because at the end of the day, what makes it even more advantageous is if they can explain what's going on. But if they're going off Excel and they're not an accountant, Lord knows what they will be explaining to whom.
Right. And of course, they're going to have to do it twice. And
No, they're gonna do it once, we'll do it twice, and we'll charge them.
So just by switching over to a proper accounting software, they can save a lot of money.
Absolutely, and the other thing which is really critical is time.
Yes, time. It's very important to an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What do most of your clients use for software?
Well, you know, the two biggest ones, being that I'm in Canada, is QuickBooks and Simply Accounting. Now, I just like the way that QuickBooks looks. I like the format. I like the statements, the way that they are. So I'm partial to it. I also like the option of modifying my reports, and I just like the versatility. But the two most common ones that I've seen from a small business perspective is without a doubt QuickBooks and Simply Accounting.
Okay. And if I were a brand new client coming to you for the very first time, which one would you recommend me to use?
I would recommend you to use QuickBooks.
Okay. And you've explained very well why you'd recommend that one. Let's say I'm already on a software and I'm using MYOB or Peachtree or something that you're not that familiar with. Would you recommend I switch over to QuickBooks, and if so, why?
Well, I mean, if I was to look at it and say, you know, am I the person you want to work with? Well, obviously, I'm going to put you in an environment that I can help you with. If I put you on MYOB and Peachtree, I'm learning as well. So how is that going to help you? And it doesn't mean that it won't help you. It's going to slow the process down. So I'm going to pick something that helps both of us. That's what I'm going to pick. It doesn't mean that MYOB and Peachtree are not good software. I've never personally used them, and I don't really know anybody who has used them. But they are out there.
So Vince, can you tell me oh, what's that funny noise in the background?
They're coming for us quick. We've made an accounting error.
Yeah, an accounting error is now a jailable offense.
Actually, it's CRA on the trucks. CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. Oops, did I say that? I'm sorry.
I don't think they're here for us.
No.
I think they're just here for you.
Okay, I'm available.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of one of your clients that benefited from switching over to using accounting software?
Absolutely. We had a client, one of my very, very first clients, who was in a big mess, actually. And I won't even say they used Excel. I'm not really sure what they used, and everything was everywhere. And whenever you try and fight a government audit, the best source of information is bouncing to the T. Okay? Now, if you're using Excel and you're not an accountant, and even if you are, how much time do you have to spend to do that? And by the way, I did try it that way first. Then I took it to my supervisor when I was working with back then. She goes, "You've got to account for every penny. This won't work." So I actually literally had to go and do it in a software. At that time, it was QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bounced every penny, and when I sat in front of the auditor, you know what? He couldn't dispute that every penny was accounted for. So,
And so how did that benefit the client?
how it benefits the client is that the information is accurate right to the penny.
Right.
There's no dispute whatsoever. That's the first thing. Second of all, it produced a set of financial statements that I didn't have to create. In other words, once I entered the information in the right spot, regardless of which software, in my case I use QuickBooks, guess what? It produces the financial statements that pretty much everybody recognizes, and they balance. And here's a real key thing.
Yeah.
If you have to go change something, it's a lot easier to change it in a software program than it is somewhere else.
Like in
Because-
Excel.
Yeah, well, think about it. You change one item, how many statements does it affect?
Should affect every statement.
So doesn't it make sense to go and change only in one spot and it affects everything, just print a new set?
It does make a lot of sense, and it would save a lot of time, and that's why we use QuickBooks, and that's why we will continue to use QuickBooks and recommend it to all our clients.
And by the way, QuickBooks doesn't pay me, but if you are listening, I'll give you my phone number, just email me.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you know there's a law that if somebody was paying you for endorsing their product or service, you have to disclose that?
Well, no, they're not paying me. Otherwise I'd tell you. But if you're listening, you know how to find me.
Yeah, if they were paying you, you wouldn't need to continue to do accounting, right?
No, I'd be retired with them.
Thanks.
Call me when I retire.
Thanks, Vince.
All right.
I appreciate your good advice, and I hope that the small business community also appreciates your solid advice too.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Ciao.